Alright guys, so this is part 3 of the terrain modeling tutorial in Blender, and this time I'm going to use a little bit of sculpting along with modifiers for the bumpy effects. Now delete the default cube and add a plane and scale it by say 10 times. Then W subdivide and make it 10. Next, add a modifier, subdivision surface 2, add another modifier, another subdivision surface. Now what we can do is decrease the vertices count like so, and now apply. So we have around 2000 vertices. Now we can go into sculpt mode and go into top view. You can select this front faces, but it's a plane, so I think it does not matter. Also, you need to go into symmetry lock and unmirror this, unselect it so that it doesn't mirror. Now you can make your mountains or whatever type of terrain you want. Just go to tools, just go to object mode and set smooth as shading. Now again okay, apply rotation and scale for the best sculpting effects. Okay, now before this, okay, I apply the rotation and scale and tab into edit mode, W, and subdivide it. U, and unwrap it. Now if I go into UV editing mode, you can see that it's unwrapped. Alright, so save it as okay. Now we can go into sculpt mode and select front faces and symmetry, no symmetry. Also go into object mode, tools, and smooth. Sculpt mode again, and so you've got this nice mountain mesh. And here we got this and this is about it. You can change it to fit your game or your scene. You can model more on this, you can make it, scale it, add more detail, do whatever you want. Also you can use other brushes, like for instance these areas. Use Shift F to decrease the strength and smooth it a bit if possible. Okay, now it's looking like a decent mountain range. And what now you can do is go into object mode if you check this, it's still UV unwrap. Okay, now what we can do is save it and add a subdivision. Still lots of faces, so I'll remove this from here. Shift T to duplicate it, move it to another layer, go there and now add a subdivision surface modifier 2, and we can go much higher than this. We can go 3. Okay, let's stick with 3 for now and add a displace modifier like we did in the previous videos. Okay, so new texture, and I'll call this big bumps, and I decrease this for now so that it's not slow. Okay, now when you go into the texture, big bumps, you can select a clouds texture and make it 5, so that, you know, with the texture, with the modifier is like so, and without it's like, with it is like so, and without it's. This is just to give the rocks a natural feel. See, earlier it was so smooth and now it's like so. So what we can do now is decrease the strength to 0.4 and okay, 0.7. Go into texture and make it 4. Okay, 3. Go to modify and 0.5, 0.3. Okay, so this is with the displacement and this is without, so we've got some changes. Now let's add another displace modifier, and this time I'm going to add another new texture and call this small bumps, and select small bumps and go with distorted noise, make this 0.1. Okay, go with clouds and make this 10. Okay, 0.002 and depth of 5. Go to strength and make it 0.1. So we've got these nice bumps on it. Now I can go with 0.04 as well. Okay. Looking good, but not that great, so we'll work on it. Okay. I'll try to change it to clouds. Okay. I go with distorted noise and a sigh, little bit of distortion, and I'll go with improved Berlin, and basis is R. Alright, see, it's going to look better as I change it from 1 to 2. Okay, so it is better, but it's way too much. Point 03. Okay, so essentially this will be our normals. So what I can do is I can make this 0.7 the big bumps, so that it has more of a mountainy feel. And I can, it's lots of vertices, but we can work with it. And go to textures and okay, these are the small bumps, so you can see that this is also looking good. I can increase it to 0.07. Maybe a little less, 0.04. Okay, I'll go over to the other texture, the big bumps texture, and I'm going to change the basis to Voronoi. This is too much, but it's looking great, isn't it? Okay, without it, and with it. So essentially I'm going to decrease the mid level of this so that it aligns with the original mesh in a more proper way. So I'm going to make this, I think, 0. Start with 0. And let's decrease the vertices count for now. Okay. Okay, first let me decrease the count. I think we'll be able to bake it, but I'm not sure about it. Let's try it. Okay, this is decreased. I'll decrease this as well. So now it's a lot less vertices to play around with. So I'll okay. We go with soft 3 and a depth of 7. Okay. Alright, we'll disable this ramp for now. We'll disable it. And I'm just going to increase the number, and I'm going to apply and okay. First let's duplicate this so that in case we mess up, I'm going to put it in this layer and select this. And 2 in both. This is looking more like rough mountains, and okay, looks good. So I'm going to apply all this. Okay, I'm going to do optimal display for both. Alright, now I'll apply all the modifiers. We already have a duplicate, so if in case I mess up, and then we can do it some other way. Use a different displacement texture for the big bumps, but I think it will be done. Okay, apply this. And apply this. Now we have a nice 500,000 vertices mesh. So let's go to UV image editor and create a new image. And I'll first try with 4096 to save some time. Zoom out. Tab into edit mode. And select that image from the drop down to link it. Tab out of edit mode. Select the smaller low poly mesh, tab into edit mode, and select the normals. So select the image to link it. Now save it. No. Okay. So first we select the high poly mesh. And what we can do is we can maybe align them. Okay, this looks good. And after selecting the high poly mesh, we can select the low poly mesh. So we have high poly and the low poly selected. And I'll go to Blender render, bake, normals, select it to active and hit bake. If you know what this means, you can watch the first part in this series. So I'll just hit bake. It's going to take a minute or so, so I'll pause it and resume then. Alright, so it's baked now, and I'm going to hide the layer with the high poly mesh and select a material for the low poly mesh. Go into texture and as normals, image or movie, and I'll select the normal image. Go into texture and shading is GLSL, and change this to a sun lamp. And select the object again, go into texture and deselect color, go to select normal and go to sampling and select normal map. Now change the diffuse color to a dark brown color and change the specular intensity to a 0.04 or maybe even less, 0.02. Okay, this looks good. Now if we compare it with the original mesh, go into solid mode, and it is a little different, but it's almost the same. So we got these nice bumps, and we can again change the color to something like this. Now if you play around with lighting and add a 3-point system, like one to reflect it down, one to reflect it up, so those lights will make it even more real. Now I can do something about this as well, and I'll go to the world, go into game first. Horizon color would be a little blue side. Okay, I think it's stuck. I'll pause it and resume it when I can. Okay, I got it. So what we can do is go into this layer and first of all delete this. Now back to our high poly mesh, and I'm going to delete this as well. So we got left with this. Save it, play. See, now in the game okay, I'll select coordinates as UV, and if I had P, you can see that we got a nice mountains. Keep in mind that it's just bumps, so it will not be real from every angle, but we can do what best we can do. And if you see, I go into solid, it's just a simple 2025 vertices. Now if I go into texture, you can see that it's a lot more detailed. We can further decrease the ambience, the specular. First we can increase the world ambience. We can add mist if we like, but I don't think, yeah. Okay, I'll change the sky color to a more and I'm going to remove the mist for now, and we can change the ambient color a bit I'm going to world. This step might be unnecessary, but I feel like doing it. So I can go and decrease the ambience from here and make it, and first of all I'll increase the hardness, something like this, and I'm going to decrease the intensity even further so that it's just a diffuse color with the texture. We can also go ahead into textures and okay, select tangent and we can decrease the normal strength to say 0.7, and we can so alright, I'll go to the textures and decrease it even further to 0.003. So we got just very less shininess, and if we go here, it's quite real. Go into perspective, and this is how it will look in the game. Okay, this didn't work out too well. Maybe I'll modify this. I'll work on it and I'll maybe some other day post a new tutorial on this. But I think it's pretty decent. Not that great, but we got something. Okay, check out the previous versions of this tutorial for other techniques if you haven't already. And thanks for watching the video, and I'll post another version very soon. Bye.